Hello, welcome to Revive Hi-Fi Canada. It's a beautiful day today, and we are featuring in our speaker feature the Wharfedale Diamond 9.1. And wow, we've been doing a lot of really good speakers here, talking about really good sounding speakers on the channel lately, and this is no exception here. These are the Wharfedale Diamond 9.1s. If you recall, we also had the Wharfedale Diamond 12.1s, the newer version of these speakers as well on the channel. We'll be talking about these and maybe doing a bit of compare and contrast in the discussion against the Wharfedale Diamond 12.1s. Well, right off the bat, I'm going to talk about the build quality, and the build quality on these beautiful curved cabinets are just very well done. I remember I had a pair of Wharfedale Diamond 3s way back, and they're just these square boxes. These are quite different. These are quite nice, as you can see, and these are a mint condition pair of Wharfedale Diamonds, and they have a voluptuous, I'll call it, curved cabinet that goes to the back and has a beautiful set of bi-wireable binding posts, and those are just very pretty, I have to say, on these. And they have also, unlike some of the other speakers, they have, as you can see on the picture here, they have dual front ports, and if you put your fingers in to these front ports, you'll feel that they're almost like a metal-like material. They're extremely rigid and strong. Just an extremely high quality feel to these speakers. They are not real wood veneer. I believe they are vinyl wrap, but they did an excellent job on these, and I just love the curved cabinets. That must have taken a bit of work to get those curved. They have a 5.5 inch or a 5-inch woofer, and that 5-inch woofer is made out of Kevlar, which is typically it's a lightweight material, and it has high rigidity, so it gives you pretty exact sound. I know that we had some Bowers & Wilkins 603 on the channel. I think that was the last speaker series we had here, and that had also had Kevlar cones, and what that does is it creates a nice clear sound. I find with these Kevlar cone speakers, it also has a 1-inch soft dome tweeter, and that tweeter is quite impressive. That we'll talk more about that later, but it has quite a smoothness to it. This is the main thing that I love about these speakers, is their smoothness. It has a frequency response of 50 hertz to 24 hertz. It has a sensitivity of 86 dB, and it has a 6 ohm impedance. And I think that is where these speakers like power. So on the demo here, we used a Marantz SR4320, that's 80 watts per channel, and it did well with these speakers. I have actually had these speakers plugged into some Class Ds, some lower powered Class D amps, like 20 watts, and they didn't sound quite as nice as they do here with the Marantz. And there's also the crossover frequency is 2.3 kilohertz, and it has a really well braced cabinet. The cabinet, if you knock on it, it's extremely solid, just like many of the speakers we feature here on the channel. It has this is the black version, although it has almost a grayish look to it. It's quite a nice looking speaker. It fits into many decors. I think this speaker is now getting on in age, but I think it's like the early to mid 2010s, yet it still looks great, and it's really nice. So we'll go and start with the dimensions here as well. It's 11.5 inches tall, 7.5 inches wide, 10, just almost 11 inches deep, and weighs about 12 pounds per speaker. So they're not small. They're a good size for a bookshelf speaker, and they're pretty heavy. And it's kind of a sign of its build quality, how heavy these speakers are. They have very nice drivers, I have to admit. And yeah, so we can start with the highs on these speakers. They have a pretty nice soft highs, and I think that's what I like most. And is this tweeter gives you that softness, and it still gives you that kind of, it gives you just that nice clarity, but still that softness, so nothing hurts your ears. So that's very much appreciated. The mids are outstanding. There are certain types of music that my wife listens to, Andrea Bocelli, and oh my, the voices come out of these speakers, heavenly sounding voices that come out of these speakers. They're these and the Diamond 12.1s, I have to say, are two of the speakers where I appreciate the sounds of voices on the most. And it's just quite something, I have to say. Like, they must have done a very good job in terms of emphasizing the voices. Even when you use these on a TV, along with also the Diamond 12.1s, when you use those on a TV, they tend to, you hear all the dialogue, even if you have both of them. You have no center channel, but you just put them on two channel, and you hear the voices so clearly on the television. It's quite remarkable. So the mids are excellent, and the lows on these are pretty decent, especially if you give them power. And here we had the marantz, but we've also tried them with our Cayenne, which is 100 watts per channel, our Cayenne 220C amplifier, and they both feed these quite well. And I would say that you need at least 50, in my experience on these, to 50 watts would do quite well with these. They do like their power on these speakers. So the thing is about the lows is that I don't know if it's because it's a rear port on the Diamond 12.1, but comparing to the Diamond 12.1, the lows are stronger on the 12.1, and it could be because of the rear port. It could also, of course, be updated design. The tweeter has a little bit more detail, and they have than they have on these. With the 12.1 has a bit more detail, but that's not saying these are any slouch whatsoever. These are superstars as well, but the Diamond 12s are just a little bit better, I would say, in that regard. The bass is where the Diamond 12.1 differentiates itself, especially after the 12.1 breaks in. It becomes almost like a different speaker, in my experience at least, and it has remarkable bass. I'm surprised by those speakers all the time. I used to be surprised by my Q150's bass, but I'm even more surprised by my Wharfedale Diamond 12.1 bass response. But what is common to both these speakers and the 12.1 is that holographic, the voices, the great voices, and the holographic kind of sound that they both have. And I think it's that soft dome tweeter that gives it that holographic kind of sound. And I kind of heard that as well in the ELAC debut B5 as well, where they have that kind of holographic mids and highs, and they're beautiful to listen to. They kind of have a three-dimensional kind of feel to the music, and that brings us into its imaging. The imaging on these are just spectacular. They're very good. I would say the Q150 is a little better, but these are right there with them, and so are the Diamond 12.1s. The sound stage on these, though, are smaller than the 12.1s. The 12.1s just sound like a bigger speaker than these, but that doesn't mean that these sound small. So I've never used these with a sub yet, and they've been really nice. And yeah, that's really what I can say. Soundstage imaging, highs, lows, mids, all are very good on these. And I just gotta say it again, though, that these speakers give you that kind of high frequency response that doesn't ever feel like it's hurting your ears. And I appreciate that very much about any speaker, but I don't want to get that at the cost of losing detail. And I don't feel like I'm getting that here. But there is a slight, when I listen to the 12.1 and these, to me the 12.1 gives you just maybe about a 3 to 4% increase on that detail, and definitely gives you maybe a 10% increase on that bass thump, and it could be the rear porting versus the front ports that are on these. But they're pretty close, and but of course I like the 12.1 a little better just because they sound bigger. But these are just no slouch by any means. I truly enjoy these. I still listen to them all the time. I've used them on my home, on my TV. I've used them on my home theater as surrounds and fronts, and they do really well. And that's only in home theaters when I've used them with a sub. But for music, I've never used them with a sub. I've never felt like I've had to. In most cases, they put out a decent amount of bass for their size. It's pretty remarkable. They're only 11.5 inches tall, right? So, but they have that depth to them, and that depth tends to give them a little bit more power and volume to get some of that bass out of there, out of the front ports. And those ports do blow air when you're playing music. So that's pretty much it about the Wharfedale Diamond 9.1. We covered the build quality, we covered the highs, the lows, the mids, the great tweeter that it has. I've noticed that even throughout all the time that I've collected speakers and tested different speakers, that the Delta series had a kind of a nice tweeter as well, the old Delta series for Wharfedale. And these are kind of like that. To me, they feel like a new version of that. So of course they're better, but then they have that kind of similarity in Wharfedale's smoothness of sound. So yeah, smooth is the word I would use to describe these. Extremely nice, and the vocals, like I said, Sarah Brightman comes through beautifully. Just like Aaron Neville, you want to listen to those songs again because they sound so nice. So thank you very much for listening. And I hope that maybe these videos bring more interest to you in this wonderful hobby of trying different types of audio amps and speakers and DACs and CD players and turntables, all of these different variables that create a sound that might be to your liking or not to your liking, but you don't know unless you try, right? So thank you very much for listening, and see you next time on Revive Hi-Fi Canada. Please subscribe if you like these videos, and we really enjoy making them, and we hope you enjoy watching them. Thank you. Bye.